What if I told you that the brand new 2026 Formula One regulations, designed to revolutionize the sport, are already on the brink of being labeled a complete failure? Max Verstappen has outright compared the 2026 F1 cars to Formula E on steroids, while Lewis Hamilton joked that fans need a university degree just to understand the new rules. And if that doesn't sound worrying enough, Fernando Alonso claims the cars are so slow through certain corners that a chef could drive them. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into the absolute chaos brewing ahead of the 2026 season. Not only are the new regulations threatening to destroy the core DNA of Formula One racing, but several of the biggest names on the grid are already facing serious career-defining trouble before the first lights even go out.
Guys, let's talk and unpack exactly what went wrong with the highly anticipated 2026 rules. We'll look at the extreme energy management demands that have teams panicking and why the FIA is desperately considering mid-testing rule changes to save face. But a tricky car is only half the story. We'll also break down the harsh realities facing our favorite drivers. We'll explore why McLaren's wonder kid Oscar Piastri is struggling to adapt, why Fernando Alonso's final years might be ruined by a familiar ghost, and why Max Verstappen is openly contemplating walking away from Formula One altogether. Strap in, because the 2026 season is shaping up to be a bumpy ride. Okay, let's start with the elephant in the room, the battery. A lot of fans are complaining online, asking why F1 is suddenly using batteries, but that's a bit misleading. F1 has used batteries since the KERS system in 2009. The real problem in 2026 is the 50-50 power split between the combustion engine and the electrical battery, meaning the hybrid power has increased almost threefold. This massive demand for energy management completely changes how an F1 car is driven. So instead of pushing to the absolute limit through corners, drivers are now forced to lift and coast massively to save battery for the straights. Look at the data from Bahrain. Early in a lap, Lando Norris pushed hard and used his battery, while Kimi Antonelli drove conservatively. By the end of the lap, Norris had nothing left and had to slow down, while Antonelli flew past with superior energy deployment. Drivers are terrified they'll try to overtake on a straight only to have their battery die halfway down, leaving them vulnerable. The FIA is panicking so much that they're considering a proposal to reduce the battery power deployment from 350 kilowatts down to 300 or 250 kilowatts, just so drivers can drive naturally without extreme coasting. But as critics point out, doing this before the season even starts is basically admitting the 2026 regulations are a failed product. While the teams fight the rulebook, the drivers are fighting their cars. Take Fernando Alonso. He finally has an Adrian Newey designed car, but his Aston Martin package is compromised, lacking performance and suffering reliability issues with the new Honda engine. There's a bitter irony that Honda, the engine that haunted his McLaren days, might undermine his final competitive years in F1. Then there's Carlos Sainz. He chose Williams to rebuild his post-Ferrari career, but Williams missed the first test in Barcelona and their car is currently overweight and lacking poise. Sainz is already watching his midfield rivals like Haas and Alpine pull ahead, making his gamble look incredibly risky. Speaking of Haas, Esteban Ocon is having a rough time. He's being comprehensively upstaged by his rookie teammate Ollie Behrman. Ocon hates rear instability, and these new low downforce 2026 cars slide around a lot, exposing his weaknesses.
Now let's talk about the 7-time world champion. No driver has more at stake this year than Lewis Hamilton. After a terrible 2025 season with Ferrari, the 41-year-old desperately needs a turnaround. The good news? The 2026 Ferrari has a wider mechanical setup window, and Hamilton feels much more connected to this car than the previous ground effect generation. In testing, he was visibly experimenting with corner entries, trying to get the car into his perfect operating window. Ferrari looks to be in decent shape, even if they are a small step behind Mercedes, but the pressure is astronomical. He absolutely has to dial into this new car quickly to match or beat Charles Leclerc, or the outside world and Hamilton himself will start asking tough questions about its future. Moving to the front of the grid, Oscar Piastri is carrying massive expectations after narrowly missing the 2025 title, but McLaren is struggling to understand the new energy management demands.
Even worse for Oscar, these 2026 cars have reduced downforce and spend more time sliding in slow corners, the exact areas where Piastri struggles compared to Lando Norris. But the biggest shockwave comes from Max Verstappen. Red Bull has actually produced a decent engine with good reliability, but early signs suggest they might only be the fourth fastest package. Fighting for podium scraps instead of wins will make Verstappen miserable. But here is the real kicker. Max absolutely despises these new energy management rules. He hates the lift and coast, he hates the expanding calendar, and he hates the sprint races. The 2026 regulations might be the final push that drives the sport's best driver out of Formula One entirely, right into the arms of endurance racing, like the Nürburgring 24 Hours.
So now I want to hear from you, the experts at home. Do you think the FIA should step in and change the battery rules before the season starts? Or should they let the 2026 season play out as intended? And out of all the drivers we talked about today, who do you think is in the biggest trouble this year? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll be reading through and replying to as many as I can. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the technical and dramatic side of F1. Until next time, keep racing. Take care.